Okay, so we're back after watching those videos. I hope that you found those interesting and also somewhat inspiring. The idea is that we can learn from people that have learned new things that were never known before by really engaging with people in a less than superficial way, in a very deep way. So the underlying principles of trying to understand the target market are, in my view, the following. Humility. First, you probably don't know the customer as well as you think you do. And so you're making a bunch of assumptions and you're probably wrong. Respect is the second principle. Your customer needs are more important than your pet design or product or technology. So the idea is not to convert your users to like your things, but to understand what your customers really need so that you can design something that fits with them. And then finally, you need to have some empathy. You need to be able to feel their pain. And so there's a lot of ways that you can do it. We'll talk a little bit about a couple. Again, there are full courses that are devoted to specifically understanding how to meet customer needs. There, you can actually get a degree in design, and the first school that was really influential in that was Stanford. They have a design school where they teach in a multidisciplinary way. So they have faculty from engineering and architecture and business, and they kind of team teach. And they have a whole process. They have created books from this. And if you're interested, there's some open online course offered by IDEO, which is the design firm that was spun off from Stanford, and it's really good. So the first thing is to try to understand. So first you look at people using products that you think need to be improved. Then you ask them about their experience, and then you actually try using those products and understand that. Then you try to tell the story that the type of problem that they're facing. And then you zoom out and look for the insights and what's really important and where the opportunity is. Now we will do this in an abbreviated form. I will have you do interviews in this class, customer interviews, and we're going to discuss that in class, what you learned from that. And I have a sheet that you'll report your results on that. So again, this is very important. We don't spend as much time on it as I would really like to in this course, just because we have to learn how to write the rest of the business plan. But most ideas, they really fail in not having done this before they start trying to get a business plan going. When you go out and do interviews, I'm going to have you go out and talk to people. You should do one person at a time. Your goal is, is not to just give like a survey with a clipboard. You're trying to understand better their experience. You're trying to see what their behavior is. Part of the reason that you're talking to people is that you're trying to hear things that you don't necessarily want to hear. At least here in America, and I think this is pretty true in a lot of areas, people want to be polite and they want to tell you the types of answers that they think that they want. So if you tell them about an idea, they're probably more generally going to try to give you positive feedback. So you want to try to disarm that politeness. And you get really good insights if you ask open-ended questions, not yes, no, or answers where you could just answer with just one word or something like that. Your goal when you go out to talk to people is to listen. So you want to encourage them, but don't influence their answers. So you're not trying to load the deck or ask the questions in a way so that you get the answers you want. Because again, the whole point of doing this is to try to understand a problem and see if your solution is actually useful. you're not trying to persuade at this point, you're trying to understand. When you're talking to them, you need to parrot back, meaning that you repeat what they've said in your own words so that you make sure that you understand. And then you want to go and get introductions from them and try to talk to more people. And then you'll write notes as quickly as possible. And we make a big effort to do this in the Lean Startup class. We will do interviews, in each of you will do interviews individually in this class, but the Lean Startups class, we go into more detail about that. Now, sometimes you have a problem seeking a solution. So it is kind of like what I described before. You're trying to understand, is this really a problem? Would people pay money to solve this? But then sometimes you're starting with a technology or some type of innovation that you think could solve some problems. So you're starting with a solution and then searching for which problem would this help to solve. This the most important. So there's kind of two different ways of dealing with this. So we will go over the market research worksheet, where I have a worksheet that I have you fill out, where you record. You need to do at least a certain number of interviews, and you write down notes about who you talk to, why you talk to them, and then you take notes on some of the answers to the questions that they gave. So that's an important part of the whole process. So next time we'll get to market analysis.